Okay, Mr. Sanders will be followed by Mr. Steve Bundry.
She's going to be passing out a press release that we prepared for everybody. Thank you, Mayor Parker, members of council. My name is Joshua Sanders, and I come before you today representing the Greater Houston Entertainment Coalition. The Greater Houston Entertainment Coalition is a specific purpose PAC organized to begin addressing the recently passed amendments to Chapter 30, which regulates noise and sound within the city of Houston. We've also taken steps to form a 501c6 trade association to begin representing the industry on a permanent basis. Our membership includes a broad cross-section of Houston's entertainment industry, which are bar and club owners, live music venues, sound engineers, DJs, musicians, bartenders and waitresses, and the many other individuals and businesses that make their living off of entertainment. Our industry employs thousands of Houstonians and provides a substantial amount of tax revenue for valuable city services. That's why we, as an industry, have organized to begin providing professional feedback and expertise on issues affecting our industry, more specifically in regards to the recently passed noise and sound ordinance amendments. Although these amendments to Chapter 30 were passed to address all noise in Houston, including chickens, screeching tires, barking dogs, cars driving by with boom boxes, auto repair shops, it introduces a new level of ambiguity and subjectiveness in regards to taking a base reading level that is having a negative effect on our industry. Since there are currently no established levels for base, and it is up to the officer's opinion on whether or not someone is in compliance, there is a great deal of confusion on whether or not an individual or a business is in compliance under the law. We seek to establish objective performance standards and outline procedures for enforcement to eliminate this confusion. We've already begun working with HPD, Administrative and Regulatory Affairs, and have contacted some of the council offices to begin this process of looking at fleshing out some of these issues. We as an industry are willing to take steps to mitigate our impact and to be good neighbors. We want to encourage good behavior amongst ourselves and compliance of the law within our industry.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, I know there's some concerns that you've discussed in terms of the current state of the ordinance. I think there's been two major meetings that ARA, I think, has hosted to kind of help educate a little bit on what's currently there. Have those at least been helpful?
Yes, it's gotten the ball rolling in the right direction, and it's opened up dialogue between our industry, HPD, and ARA, which is a good thing because we think a lot of these issues could be solved with more cooperation and sharing of information between our industry and between HPD. You know, we want to be good neighbors, and we want to be able to be productive members of this society. And so we want to be able to actually do some self-policing of our own within the industry. And to help better do that and help HPD, we want to share as much information as possible. We want to be at the table with them regularly, working through these issues.
I know Mr. Newport that's standing here with ARA. I know he's been engaged in the issue. I've talked to him and voiced an interest in making sure that we're working through this. And obviously, as we've talked before, we also have to balance the needs out in the community as well, and some of the complaints, as you are well aware of. But one size fits all isn't always, the best case. So I thank you for educating us, and I'm glad that we're at least talking, that you're working with the administration to hopefully find out maybe a better path forward, and that we could also perhaps use some of the technologies available out there. I know there's even apps now that measure sound, and are you in favor of that?
Yes, we are. We're in favor of putting the burden upon ourselves to be the ones responsible for being under compliance. We're willing to take steps to purchase these types of sound meters, to be able to have this information on site, so when an officer does show up for a noise complaint, there's information available, a past history. It's not just based upon someone's subjective call anymore. So we're willing to take those steps as an industry, like I said, to better monitor ourselves and to be able to better identify the bad actors, so we can kind of put pressure amongst them through the industry.
Another suggestion that we discussed that I had mentioned was the possibility of also seeking more training for our officers as well in the areas of policing hospitality districts.
Yes.
That's
one of the issues that you're going to hear
about that?
Yeah, one of the issues you're going to hear from some of my board members that I brought with me today are currently when there's a noise complaint, an HPD officer who's just on the beat responds to it. That officer shows up on site without any prior knowledge of the business. Have they had complaints before in the past? Is this a repeat, someone who does, I guess, complains repeatedly, what are the issues associated with the circumstance that I'm involving myself in? And if we somehow had, I guess, identify areas of town where the bars and entertainment venues are more prevalent and had specific task force or HPD units that would respond to these types of complaints, I think information would be more readily available and they'd have more prior knowledge so that and also an established relationship with the owner. So some of these issues could get worked through without having to take any legal course or action.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bradford.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Sanders, thanks for coming down, and thanks for being a good example of industry, working with the administration and council to try to get to the bottom of solving a particular problem. I've watched this problem get tackled, and we're moving in the right direction, in my view. You mentioned the officers not knowing what had happened at the location previously. They do, with technology in their cars. Each specific location has a premise history designation where the officer can, in fact, determine what has happened at that location. We started that years ago for officer safety reasons, but it also can be flagged for just pure previous sites or previous complaints to locations. So they do have access to that information.
Prior information is there, and you are correct, but those are put into the system with a code violation. So that code violation may not fully explain what that past circumstance was, or even if that business is trying to be a good actor and has been taking proactive steps to mitigate their impact.
But thank you for your work, and thank you for your coalition formation, and thanks for willing to even acquire some of the meters to help do the measurement. That was an issue also. The meters to measure base was so expensive, just simply couldn't afford a meter for every car out there.
And just as a side issue, I'm not here just representing this group because I've been hired. I actually own an independent record label and a recording and production studio on the east side of downtown. My business partner has been a DJ for over 15 years and a producer within this industry. And so when he goes out to DJ some nights in Houston, because there is no clear level set on the law, he's asked me for advice on what he should do. And the only thing I can tell him is good luck.
Well, you are a good citizen, so thank you.
So thank you.
Well, there are standards set in the law.
Well, for treble reading, yes.
Correct.
Thank you for your
Councilmember,
time.
we've expired the time, but did you have?
We have some other speakers. Mayor. I could just address my comments to them.
Thank you for your time today.
Okay, Mr. Bundrick, to be followed by Mr. Omar. Is it Afra?
Greetings and happy Valentine's Day, City Council. My name is Steve Bundrick. I'm a school teacher. I teach middle school band. I'm a recording studio owner. I'm a sound company owner. I'm a scoutmaster, and I'm a citizen and a taxpayer. And I make my living off of music every single day. I teach young kids how to perform, how to read, how to write. I also am involved in a lot of the major venues that occur here, such as Beer Fest on your front steps. I'm the sound guy that called to the people in the pond out there to get out of the water. So I'm pretty active in the scene out here, and what's going on with the sound ordinance is directly affecting our industry as a whole, not only internally, but as it's perceived outside of the city. There are, of course, major tours that come to town, Toyota Center, Reliant, the Rodeo, all these live performers. These are the big rich guys. These are the guys that all of us little guys aspire to be one day, and truthfully, none of us probably will, but we still pursue our passion of music, and we still have a real desire to perform music. And it's one of the times that you pull up to a club and there's 300 or 400 people there, and you got a concert, and you feel this power, the emotion, the sound system comes on, everything's working, and then all of a sudden the police officer walks in and writes a ticket and shuts the whole thing down. The bar gets, all the people clear out, there's no money made that night, the band has to go away, you lost your money for the night, and now, the darn city did it to us again. This is happening over and over again. As of last week, the Houston Police Department took it upon themselves to make their first arrest in this matter. They arrested a DJ at Mango's, a club on Westheimer that Assistant Chief McKinney told me had one of the best soundproof rooms, where his son in the band My Holiday, Chief McKinney's son, performs there. And here HPD has made an arrest of a DJ there on a Tuesday night. Now the problems occurring with this are that there are no true subjective measures.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Mr. Bundrick, we don't have any